Have you ever found yourself staring at a task, knowing you should start, but somehow you just don't? Maybe you tell yourself you'll begin in 5 minutes, or maybe you get distracted by something more fun, like scrolling on your phone. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Almost everyone struggles with procrastination at some point, and for many of us, it's a daily battle. But what if I told you that procrastination isn't a character flaw, and it's not a sign that you're lazy or unmotivated? Instead, it's a habit, a pattern that can be understood, managed, and even overcome. Welcome to BetterSelf, the channel where we help you become your best self, one step at a time. Here, you'll not only learn powerful strategies for personal growth and productivity, but you'll also improve your English listening skills along the way. Every episode is designed for English learners, using clear and simple language, so you can build your vocabulary and confidence while working on your goals. Today's topic is procrastination busters. We're going to explore the real reasons why we put things off, and I'll share practical tools you can use right now to break free from procrastination. Together, we'll dive into stories, analogies, and science-backed tips that will help you take action, finish what you start, and feel proud of your progress. If you're ready to stop delaying your dreams and start building better habits, then let's begin this journey, chapter by chapter. Chapter 1. Understanding why we procrastinate. To beat procrastination, we first need to understand it. Think of procrastination like a mysterious fog that rolls in whenever you try to get something important done. You know your destination, but the fog makes it hard to see the path ahead. Why does this fog appear, and why is it so hard to move through it? Procrastination often isn't about being lazy or careless. In many cases, it's a way your brain tries to protect you from discomfort. For example, when you face a big project, your mind might start to worry. What if I don't do it well? What if it's too hard? These thoughts can create feelings of anxiety or stress. So your brain, wanting to avoid these emotions, tries to distract you with easier, more pleasant activities. This is similar to a child standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool. The water looks uncomfortable, so the child keeps finding reasons not to jump in. Maybe she fixes her swimsuit, checks the temperature, or asks for another minute. The longer she waits, the harder it is to take the plunge. But once she finally jumps, she often realizes it wasn't as bad as she imagined. Procrastination is also fueled by a battle between two parts of your brain. There's the logical part, which knows you should start your work now for the best results. Then there's the emotional part, which prefers comfort and instant rewards, like watching a funny video or chatting with friends. When you procrastinate, the emotional part wins the argument, at least for a little while. Think back to a time when you delayed something important. Maybe you needed to study for an exam, but you spent hours cleaning your room instead. Or maybe you wanted to write a report, but you ended up watching your favorite TV series. In these moments, your brain was choosing short-term comfort over long-term achievement. It's important to remember that procrastination is a common human experience. Even famous and successful people struggle with it. The author Victor Hugo, for example, was famous for putting off his writing. To force himself to finish The Hunchback of Notre Dame, he locked away his clothes so he couldn't go outside until he completed his work. This story shows that even great minds need creative ways to overcome the urge to delay. Now, take a moment to think about something you've been putting off. What feelings or thoughts come up when you imagine starting this task? Are you worried about making mistakes, feeling bored, or not knowing where to begin? Recognizing these emotions is the first step to breaking the cycle. By shining a light on your reasons for procrastinating, you can start to see the fog for what it is, a temporary feeling, not an unbreakable barrier. Chapter 2. The Cost of Delay. Why procrastination is a thief. Procrastination might seem harmless at first. After all, what's the problem with putting things off for a little while? But over time, those small delays can add up to a much bigger problem. It's like a tiny leak in a boat. You might not notice it right away, but if you ignore it, the boat will eventually fill with water and sink. The real cost of procrastination isn't just unfinished tasks. It's the stress, anxiety, and guilt that build up every time you delay. Imagine you have a big presentation at work or school. Each day you put off preparing, your worry grows. You might try to distract yourself, but the thought of the unfinished project lingers in the back of your mind, making it hard to relax or enjoy other activities. Research shows that chronic procrastination can even harm your health. It leads to more stress, poor sleep, and lower self-esteem. You start to doubt your abilities because you see yourself missing deadlines or rushing at the last minute. Over time, this can create a cycle where procrastination leads to negative feelings, and those negative feelings make you procrastinate even more. Let's look at a real story. Tim Urban, a popular writer and blogger, describes his battle with procrastination in his famous TED Talk. He talks about the instant gratification monkey, a funny way to describe that part of your brain that loves quick fun and hates hard work. He explains how this monkey always takes control when there are no deadlines, leading to wasted days and growing panic as the deadline gets closer. The lesson here is that procrastination doesn't just steal your time. It steals your peace of mind, your confidence, and your opportunities. Think of your dreams and goals as seeds you want to plant in a garden. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment to plant them, the seeds might never grow. Time passes, and you miss your chance. Each time you delay action, you give up a little bit of your future potential. Now, reflect on a project or goal that matters to you. How would your life be different if you started working on it today, instead of waiting for the right mood or more time? Imagine the relief, pride, and freedom you could feel once it's done. This vision can be a powerful motivator, helping you see that the true cost of procrastination is much greater than it seems. Chapter 3. The Perfectionism Trap. One of the biggest reasons people procrastinate is perfectionism. At first, perfectionism sounds like a good thing. After all, wanting to do your best can help you succeed, right? But perfectionism often becomes a trap, a cage that keeps you from starting or finishing anything at all. Imagine you're an artist with a blank canvas in front of you. You want your painting to be amazing, so you wait for the perfect idea. You worry about making a mistake, so you hesitate to put your brush to the canvas. Days go by, and the canvas stays blank. In the end, your fear of imperfection stops you from creating anything at all. This happens in all areas of life, not just art. Maybe you want to write an essay, start a business, or even just clean your room. If you believe it has to be perfect, you might never begin. The pressure to meet high standards can make any task feel overwhelming, so your brain chooses to avoid it instead. There's a famous story about the writer J.K. Rowling. Before she became known for the Harry Potter books, she struggled with self-doubt and the fear that her writing wasn't good enough. She often rewrote the first chapters, trying to make them perfect. But she only found success when she allowed herself to write imperfectly, knowing she could always improve her work later. Perfectionism can also disguise itself as preparation. You might spend hours researching, planning, or organizing instead of actually doing the work. While preparation is important, endless planning can be another way to avoid the risk of making mistakes. If you recognize perfectionism in yourself, try to remember that mistakes are a natural part of learning and growing. No one creates something perfect on the first try. In fact, most successful people achieve greatness by making mistakes, learning from them, and trying again. Think about a time when your desire to do something perfectly stopped you from starting or finishing it. What if instead you gave yourself permission to make mistakes and learn as you go? You might find that progress, not perfection, is the real key to success. Each small step forward, even if imperfect, brings you closer to your goals. Chapter 4. Breaking tasks into bite-sized pieces. When you look at a big project, it can feel like standing at the foot of a mountain, staring up at the peak. The climb looks long and difficult, so it's easy to feel discouraged before you even take the first step. This feeling often leads to procrastination. But what if you could turn that mountain into a series of small, manageable hills? One of the most powerful ways to beat procrastination is to break big tasks into smaller pieces. Instead of focusing on the whole mountain, you focus on the next step right in front of you. This technique is used by athletes, writers, and successful people in all walks of life. For example, imagine you need to write a 2,000-word essay. If you think about the entire essay all at once, it can feel overwhelming. But if you break it down into smaller tasks, like writing an outline, then writing just the introduction, and then each paragraph one by one, the project becomes much less scary. This approach is sometimes called chunking. By dividing your work into smaller chunks, you create a series of easy wins. Each time you complete a small task, you get a little boost of confidence and motivation, making it easier to keep going. The famous author, Ernest Hemingway, used this method. He would stop writing each day when he knew what the next sentence would be, so he could start the next day with an easy task. This simple trick helped him avoid the feeling of being stuck, and it kept his momentum going. Now think about a project you've been putting off. What is the very first small step you could take? Maybe it's opening a new document, making a list of tasks, or reading the first page of a textbook. By focusing on just one small action, you make it much easier to start. Remember, you don't have to climb the mountain all at once. Just take the next step. Chapter 5. The 2-minute rule. Making starting easy. Getting started is often the hardest part of any task. Once you begin, it's much easier to keep going. This is why the 2-minute rule is such a powerful tool for overcoming procrastination. The idea is simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it right away. But you can also use this rule to make starting any big task feel easier. Break your task down until the first step takes only 2 minutes or less. For example, instead of telling yourself, "I have to study for 2 hours," you say, "I'll just open my notebook and read the first page." That's it. Once you've started, you'll often find the energy to keep going. This rule works because it lowers the barrier to action. Your brain doesn't feel overwhelmed by a huge task. Instead, it only has to handle a tiny, manageable step. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, shares the story of a reader who wanted to start exercising. Instead of trying to run for 30 minutes, he made it his goal to put on his running shoes and step outside. Most days, once he completed this tiny first step, he felt motivated to keep running. But even on days when he didn't feel like doing more, he still succeeded in building the habit of starting. You can use the 2-minute rule for anything: writing, cleaning, studying, or learning English. The next time you catch yourself delaying a task, ask, "What's the smallest, easiest action I can take in the next 2 minutes?" Take that step and see where it leads. Often, action creates momentum, and momentum is the enemy of procrastination. Chapter 6. Creating a distraction-free zone. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Your phone buzzes with messages, social media calls for your attention, and 1,000 other things compete for your focus. These distractions make it easy to procrastinate, even when you want to work. Creating a distraction-free zone is like building a safe space where your mind can focus. Imagine you're a musician preparing for a concert. Before you practice, you close the door, silence your phone, and set up your music stand. In this environment, it's much easier to concentrate and make progress. You don't need a special room or expensive equipment to create your own focus zone. Start by removing the most common distractions. Put your phone in another room, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and let others know you need some quiet time. Even small changes, like clearing your desk or using noise-canceling headphones, can make a big difference. One college student, struggling with procrastination, made a rule: no studying in bed and no watching TV at his desk. By separating work and relaxation spaces, he trained his brain to focus when he sat at his desk and to relax when he was in bed. Over time, this simple habit helped him study more efficiently and enjoy his free time without guilt. Think about your own environment. What distractions pull you away from your work? Try making small changes today to create your own distraction-free zone. Even 30 minutes in a focused space can help you make great progress. Chapter 7. using deadlines and accountability. Deadlines can be powerful motivators, but only if you use them the right way. Without a clear deadline, it's easy to tell yourself, I'll do it later. But when you know exactly when something is due, your brain switches into action mode. Sometimes, external deadlines are set by teachers, bosses, or clients. But you can also create your own deadlines and use accountability to stay on track. This is the secret weapon of many successful people. For example, best-selling author Stephen King writes every day, even when he's not working on a book for a publisher. He sets his own word, count goals, and holds himself accountable. By treating his writing like a real job, with real deadlines, he stays productive and keeps procrastination at bay. You can also use accountability partners, friends, family, or co-workers who help you stay on track. Imagine you tell a friend, I'll finish my report by Friday. If I don't, I'll buy you coffee. Now, you have extra motivation to meet your goal because someone else is counting on you. Public commitments can work too. Announcing your plans on social media or in a study group adds positive pressure to follow through. Try setting a clear, specific deadline for a task you've been delaying. Share your goal with someone you trust and ask them to check in with you. Notice how this extra layer of accountability can help you turn intentions into action. Chapter 8. Rewarding progress, not just perfection. Many people only reward themselves when they finish a big project or reach a major goal. But celebrating small steps along the way can actually help you beat procrastination and stay motivated. Think of a video game where you earn points and badges for every level you complete. These small rewards keep you engaged and excited to keep playing, even when the final challenge is still far away. In the same way, rewarding yourself for progress, no matter how small, makes the journey more enjoyable. For example, after studying for 30 minutes, you might take a short walk, listen to your favorite song, or enjoy a cup of tea. Each reward tells your brain, good job. Keep going. Over time, your brain starts to link hard work with positive feelings, making it easier to start tasks in the future. The famous inventor Thomas Edison celebrated even his failed experiments, seeing each one as a step closer to success. He believed that every bit of progress, not just the final result, was worth celebrating. Think about how you can reward yourself for making progress today. What small treat or activity would make you smile after completing a task? By focusing on progress, not just perfection, you turn the fight against procrastination into a more positive and rewarding experience. Chapter 9. Using visual tools to track your journey. Our brains love visuals. That's why using charts, calendars, or habit trackers can be such a powerful way to overcome procrastination. When you see your progress in front of you, it becomes real, and you feel more motivated to keep going. Imagine a wall calendar with a big red X for every day you practice English. As the days go by, the chain of X's grows longer. After a week or two, you don't want to break the chain, so you keep going. This simple technique was used by comedian Jerry Seinfeld to become one of the most consistent writers in the business. You can use apps, journals, or even a piece of paper to track your progress. Write down your daily goals and mark each one as you complete it. Over time, you'll build a visual record of your hard work. This not only helps you stay on track, but it also gives you a sense of pride and accomplishment. One student struggling with procrastination started using a habit tracker to record her study sessions. At first, she only managed a few sessions each week, but as she saw her progress, she became more motivated. Soon, her calendar was full of check marks, and her confidence grew along with her skills. Try creating your own visual tracker for a goal you care about. Place it somewhere you'll see it every day, as a reminder that every step counts. Watching your progress grow is a powerful way to stay focused, beat procrastination, and build new habits. Chapter 10. Self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. When we procrastinate, it's easy to feel angry or disappointed with ourselves. We might call ourselves lazy, make excuses, or even give up on our goals. But research shows that self-criticism only makes procrastination worse. The real key is self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Imagine your friend is struggling to start a big project. Would you yell at them or call them lazy? Probably not. Instead, you'd encourage them, remind them of their strengths, and help them find a small way to begin. You deserve that same understanding from yourself. Dr. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, found that people who are kind to themselves are actually more likely to take positive action. When you forgive yourself for past procrastination, you break the cycle of guilt and avoidance. You realize that everyone struggles sometimes, and what matters most is what you do next. The next time you catch yourself delaying a task, pause and take a deep breath. Instead of criticizing yourself, say, "It's okay. I'm learning and growing. I'll take one small step now." This gentle approach helps you move forward with less stress and more confidence. Think of self-compassion as a soft pillow that supports you on your journey. It doesn't remove the challenges, but it makes the path a little easier. By treating yourself with kindness, you build resilience and make it easier to start again, no matter how many times you fall. Chapter 11. Building an identity of action. Long-lasting change happens when you see yourself in a new way. Instead of thinking, "I am someone who procrastinates," you begin to believe, "I am someone who takes action." This shift in identity is one of the most powerful ways to overcome procrastination for good. You can start by noticing and celebrating even the smallest moments when you take action. Each time you start a task, finish a project, or resist a distraction, you're proving to yourself that you can be a doer, not just a dreamer. Olympic athletes use this mindset to stay motivated. They don't just train for medals, they see themselves as athletes, practicing their craft every day. Even when they don't feel inspired, they show up because that's who they are. You can use positive self-talk to reinforce your new identity. Instead of saying, "I have to do this," try saying, "I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done." Over time, your actions shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your actions. Reflect on a recent time when you took action, even in a small way. How did it feel? What would happen if you made this your new habit, choosing action, one step at a time? By building an identity of action, you make procrastination less appealing and progress more natural. Today you've learned that procrastination isn't a personal failure. It's a habit that can be understood and changed. We've explored why we procrastinate, the hidden costs of delay, and the traps of perfectionism. You've discovered practical tools, like the 2-minute rule, breaking tasks into small steps, and using visual trackers to measure your progress. You've seen how creating a distraction-free zone, setting deadlines, rewarding yourself, and practicing self-compassion can make a real difference. And you've learned the power of building an identity of action and using mindfulness to manage your urges. Remember, everyone struggles with procrastination sometimes, even the most successful people. What matters is not how many times you delay, but how many times you choose to begin again. Each small step forward is a victory, and each moment of action brings you closer to your goals. So, as you go about your day, ask yourself, what is one small action I can take right now? No matter how tiny, no matter how imperfect, just start. Your future self will thank you. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to BetterSelf for more inspiring stories, practical tips, and English learning adventures. Together, we'll build better habits, stronger minds, and a brighter future, one day and one word at a time.